Hey everybody, it's Austin Ward here for Lettermen Row. We're back with another BuckIQ. We've got the wide receiver, former Ohio State star, Evan Spencer in the building. So you know what we're going to talk about. And we could pick just about any number of guys from that game last week, Evan. It was pretty remarkable what that offense did. So just generally, before we get into the one guy in particular, what did you think about the wideouts last week?
I mean, first and foremost, it's always a good day when I'm sitting here with a huge smile on my face, right? Because that means the wide receivers had a day. More seriously, I'm really proud, right? Because, at the end of the day, we really needed to answer the bell, right? We needed to come out, we needed to have a dominant performance. But not only that, we needed to showcase our ability. And, I would say in the receiver room, definitely happened. From top to bottom, from leadership to plays on special teams, man. It was phenomenal, and I was really excited to see it.
I mean, obviously some of the usual suspects stepped up. You had Paris Campbell making big plays. You had KJ Hill. You had a touchdown for Johnny Dixon. But the guy that set the tone early was the freshman. He had, I think, 4 or 5 catches, career catches coming in. Makes 2 for touchdowns in the first half in the game.
Isn't that pretty cool? Like, there's always a stage in the game, right? There's always a stage for that one guy that not many people know about, before the game, right? But they get in there, they realize the stage, and they just execute, man. They know what their brothers are asking them to do, and they go 10 times over it, right? Because at the end of the day, they know that game means that much to everybody involved. So, incredibly happy for Chris and excited for his future, for real.
So Chris Olave, one of the big stars there of the game, the win over Michigan. He's going to have another opportunity, another big stage coming on Saturday night against Northwestern in the Big Ten championship game. Evan's going to look and see what exactly helped Olave get those touchdowns, block that punt, have himself a little day there to beat Michigan, and we're going to roll the tape right now.
405 yards passing, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Here's Haskins under pressure this time, and he finds his man. Olave, touchdown, Buckeyes.
All right, Evan, so here you are early in the game, playing Michigan, #1 defense in the country, and you got a freshman dragging across the field, making a big play, getting into the end zone. What's the first thing that stands out to you about this play and this situation for Chris Olave?
Well, first things first, right, it's his mentality, right? I get the ball, I see field, and there's nobody stopping me from scoring. That's the first and foremost thing that was most impressive with me in this play. Next, it's just situational awareness. If we could press pause at the top, right? So obviously we know this is a man-free team, right? So there's a safety in the middle, and we got man across the board. Well, the problem with bunch sets is with how tight this cluster of guys are. It's really, really, really hard to play man without passing them off. And as you can see, he's trying to guard Chris without passing off, and he just gets caught in the wash, and Chris makes a great play. So I would say that's the second note here in this play that caused him to score.
A lot of times when we see these bunch formations, Evan, and you and I don't know specifically the entire play call here, but do all 3 guys in the bunch, is there one that you think is most likely to come out of it when you're out there, when you were playing? Do you guys have in mind which guy's going to get loose, or is this just the way Michigan defends that?
Yeah, we'll definitely know, right? That might be a generalization. More often than not, we will know, press pause at this top, because at the end of the day, once we get in this bunch, how they react will tell us the coverage immediately, right? If these 2 dudes are talking about, in and out, press the point, I know that it's some form of zone. They might try to switch to a man coverage late. But at the end of the day, if I can look at my triangle on into the safety, I can read the coverage. So if I see zone, I need to know the concept a little bit better. But one of these 2 guys is a zone beater. 2 of these guys are probably zone beaters and a man beater, right? So then it's just his job to decide, okay, is it man or zone? If it's zone, pick between my 2 options on here, or if I have one over here, if it's man, pick between him or him.
Gotcha. And then Chris Olave makes this play, makes the catch. You get that green grass. He seems to know exactly where he needs to head.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a good part.
Haskins to the corner. Haskins, touchdown again. Chris Olave.
And then, so later on, you've still got Ohio State looking to add to that lead. It's a tight game. Dwayne Haskins, this is a laser beam. But Olave has to make a little bit of an adjustment maybe on the end too. What do you think about this route, Evan?
Man, big time throw. I mean, a lot of people probably got a little bit nervous. You're leading them inside or whatever. But number 7 keeps Olave in the field of play. That's the important part, right? So a freshman, a young kid, being able to adjust the football stemming 28 inside to give himself more space, fighting back to where he's supposed to be and making a catch. It's so unbelievable that a young kid is able to do that at an early age, because stacking the defender, right, is something that, has to be taught and taught and taught, even at the professional level, right? So continue this, my man, and you're on a good path. You just got to keep playing ball, baby.
Evan, we've talked in other breakdowns, BuckIQs this season, about knowing that field awareness and where you get your feet down. But we do that in relation to the catch. Olave's getting pressed to the sideline here, and he has to stay in bounds, make sure that you don't have to reestablish and all that stuff. I mean, how impressed with you are that part of it? How difficult is that as a receiver to manage that part of the route concept there?
I would say it's difficult outsider looking in, but from the receiver perspective, it's not as difficult as one would think, because you need to know. Go to the other view. You can keep going. Nice. So you can see that he's starting right where his split is. I know that if I'm splitting near or on or inside or outside the numbers, I know generally how much feel I have to this sideline, right? So if I try to stem him in and dang, this is a really good jam, and I'm still trying to fight, and I'm still trying to fight, and I'm still trying to fight to stack him, and he's still widening me, I know I'm close, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to look down to know that I'm close.
Okay.
So at any point, I just know, get your ass in the middle of the field and go make a play on the ball, right?
All right.
So it's all feel, really, I would say that.
The 20. And it's blocked. Ohio State got it. Blocked out of the air. Towards the end zone. Touchdown, Buckeyes.
So Olave goes and gets the ball, another one into the end zone. And guess what? There's another opportunity for him to go get it, but it comes in a very different circumstance.
This is the best one.
And Evan, as you know, as a guy who's had to play special teams and earn his way for Urban Meyer, this is how you really impress him. It's not by making a catch.
This is the complete play, right? This is what made him have an all-star type of game against Michigan, right? Is he looped, and realistically, he was a little bit wide on his loop, but he never gave up. He continued onwards. He knew where the block spot was for number 17 with the right leg, right? He knew that block spot's right there. So if you go back to the top one more time, right? He's going to loop around, and he doesn't chase 17 where he's at here. Block spot's here. 17, Chris is going right to that block spot and taking the ball off of his foot.
Wow. And I think the story here was that Ohio State put this in and picked Chris Olave specifically to do it with that speed. You've seen this done over the years, Evan, that the wide receivers, they play a pretty significant role for Ohio State on special teams.
This is fun, man. I used to love when we used to call the black team out, and that's what we just named it. There was just the specific name for the group at the time.
Urban joked that he was going to have to change the name. He accidentally said it during the press conference.
He might have to, hence my slight backtrack in my statement just now. But anyways, this is always fun, right? You get to come out, you get to affect the game immediately if you guys do your job. So it's always a fun group to be on.
How many times did Urban talk about that stat that I think it's 90% that he tells that you block a kick, you're going to win the game?
Yeah, I mean, all the time, because it's true, right? If we can affect the game like this, and we got a productive offense that's putting points up on next to every possession, these are the things, just by sheer numbers, that make you win the football game.
It helped Ohio State beat Michigan. It will obviously be important to have Chris Olave and those special teams rolling again on Saturday against Northwestern. You guys know that Evan will be watching, waiting for those Buckeyes to maybe make a run like he did in 2014 with Ohio State. It'll be a fun one. Maybe we'll have something to break down next week, Evan.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so he's Evan Spencer. It's BuckIQ. I'm Austin Ward. We'll see you next time at Lettermen Row.